coming up. Today, Versus is giving you the ultimate battle to crown the king of the ocean with a battle royale showdown. We'll have 16 of our fiercest modern ocean creatures go toe to toe, or fin to fin. That means no Megalodons, no Spinosaures. We want to figure out who the strongest ocean creature would be today. But that doesn't mean that things won't get crazy. Sharks are battling against squids, tunas fighting whales, and piranhas fighting basically whatever they can get their grubby little teeth on.
God, don't do that.
Let's find out who the best of the best is in our oceans. Before we begin, let me know down in the comments who you think would win. Let's get started with some ground rules. Every single animal is put into the same basic arena, the ocean. That means there's environmental hazards if they want to. There is shallowness of the ocean, but there's also deep parts. They're also fighting for survival. It's not really how many animals they can take down. It's the last fish standing, or swimming, I guess. With that in mind, let's get right into our first battle. Ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna be the biggest battle any ocean has ever seen. I'm expecting the ocean to look like tomato soup by the end of everything. We're starting with one of the most intense fights, the tiger shark versus the giant squid. I have to say, AI had a little bit of a hard time making the squid actually big, so it's a little smaller than described, but I swear it's a great fight. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. Beat around the coral? Okay, I'll stop. This is gonna be a hard fight for the tiger shark. Although being more than triple its size, the giant squid is actually in the same weight bracket as the tiger shark. That may be because this shark will basically eat anything and everything. Crustaceans, fish, garbage. If it's in the ocean, this guy will eat it. But there's no time for fun facts. The giant squid shoots out its massive feeding tentacles, its own sucker-filled fish net. The tiger shark is trying to dodge and weave, snapping and biting to keep the giant predator at bay, but it just can't get away. This giant squid was designed to capture things exactly like the tiger shark. The giant squid has now caught the tiger shark, hundreds of flesh-ripping suckers piercing into it. But that's not the worst part. Those feeding tentacles are just the beginning, as the tiger shark is pulled into the massive beak and 8 additional tentacles of the squid. Giant squids have evolved to take on sperm whales. As the tiger shark gets closer and closer to its mouth, that's it. Our tiger shark competitor just can't stand up to this kraken. The giant squid moves on to the quarterfinals, and we move on to our next fight, which holds one of the most deadly predators in the ocean. The orca versus the bluefin tuna. This next fight might be done faster than you can say, I just subscribed to Versus. Thank you, by the way. The bluefin tuna can reach up to 13 feet long and weigh over 2 tons, but the orca is almost triple that size at 35 feet long and weighing almost 6 times the tuna at 11 tons. Not only that, but the bluefin tuna is the perfect prey for the orca. It has less endurance, it's weaker, and most importantly, it's dumber. The orca, seeing what humans would describe as a cooked chicken on a platter, bursts towards the bluefin tuna. The tuna is fast, folks, hitting over 50 miles per hour in an instant and bolts out of there right into shallow waters. That's right, remember, our orca competitor is smart, often using their environment to their advantage. They can't outpace a tuna, but they can easily corner it. With one last burst of speed, it's over for our bluefin tuna competitor. The orca moves on to the quarterfinals, and really, did you expect any different? And we move on to what I'm calling the battle of the torpedo. Barracuda versus electric eel. This is power versus the supernatural, and it's gonna be our closest battle yet. The electric eel can release over 8 times the voltage your electrical outlet can produce, meaning one good zap could kill even some of the biggest ocean predators. The barracuda, however, uses ram biting, a bite and tear technique so quick it could tear the electric eel in half before it lets out a single volt, which means this could be over in an instant. The electric eel swims around aimlessly. Due to its poor poor eyesight. It has to rely on using electrical signals to fight its competition. The barracuda's enhanced eyesight means it has its meal, get it, like eel, moving on. It has it in its sight. With one flick of its powerful tail, it shoots off at over 36 miles per hour. The electric eel senses the barracuda and starts releasing electricity, but the water dispels it. It's enough to slow down the barracuda, but not enough to stop it. Those needle-like teeth come down, and your barracuda is the winner. Unfortunately, electric eels need to be really close to do fatal damage to predators with their electricity because it's in water. So close, in fact, they kind of have to be in the mouth of their predators. And it's why the barracuda is moving on to the quarterfinals. This time, speed was king, but that might not be the case in our next battle. Swordfish versus blue whale. If the swordfish was the size of an average human, its opponent, the blue whale, would be the equivalent of you fighting a 10-story building. But our swordfish is no slouch. By releasing oils onto their body and nose, they can reach over 60 miles per hour in the water, making them one of the fastest fish in the ocean. The blue whale, however, is the largest animal to have ever lived on Earth. That's some pretty good stats. The swordfish swims up to what is essentially a Lovecraftian horror, the blue whale. The swordfish needs to be smart. It needs to use its massive upper jawbone, the sword, as efficiently as possible. It swims around to the back of the blue whale, looking for any opportunity to strike, only to feel a rush of water from above. It looks up, its last sight, the incoming tail of the blue whale crashing towards it. One hit, and it's lights out. The swordfish never had a hope of taking down this behemoth of a creature, meaning your blue whale moves on to the quarterfinals. For our next fight, we're gonna have something a little bit more size appropriate. Saltwater crocodile versus sawfish. One of the deadliest and most intimidating predators on Earth versus this goofy guy. Look at him. Unsurprisingly, the sawfish uses its rostrum, or that saw nose, to smack and pin its prey. What is surprising is that it also emits an electrical field to detect prey and predators. The saltwater crocodile uses its massive jaw, unleashing the strongest bite of any known living creature, which may make you think that it's pretty serious, but it can be pretty goofy too. I mean, its Latin name is Crocodilus porosus. That's kind of silly. Using its rostrum, the sawfish is looking to find its ambushing competitor. If the sawfish doesn't find the crocodile quick, it'll be game over. The sawfish swims around and the electric field picks something up. Deciding to put everything on the line, the sawfish starts swinging its nose, looking for any damage or deterrence, but this crocodile's ready and brings down its massive jaw, snapping the nose in two. Stunned and hurt, the sawfish tries to run away, but it's too late. First you see fish, then you saw fish. I'm sorry, I had to do it. But that also means that the saltwater crocodile is moving on to the quarterfinals. And so we're on to our next fight, which could be the closest fight we've seen so far. Piranhas versus poison fish. There are a lot of poison fish in the ocean, so much so, we thought it'd be fun to put them on Team Poison. With animals like the cone snail, box jellyfish, and blue-ringed octopus, their neurotoxins could easily take down a human, quite painfully too, with even their minor poisons causing paralysis or even nausea. This makes a great battle for the piranhas, who hunt and swim in swarms, mostly for defensive purposes. It's safety in numbers. The piranhas see a group of what can only be assumed to be regular fish, diving in to take out their prey's eyes and noses. It's their signature move. But suddenly, the swarm stops, realizing many of their brothers in arms have perished from these toxic avengers. We're at a stalemate, folks. These poisonous animals are on defense, but the piranhas are starving. They dive back into these poisonous fiends, the chaos and movements covering the battle, but it leads to silence. As the dust settles, or the bubbles settle? I'm sorry, that was my last one. We see that there's no one left. Could this be a draw? The piranhas may have won the battle, but the poison quickly took all of them out. This is our first draw of the tournament. The issue with poisonous animals is that the poison is meant for deterrence. Against hungry piranhas, they're more likely to be ripped to shreds before the poison takes effect, which means no one is moving on. Let's hope this next fight has a true winner. It's dolphin versus stingray. One of the smartest creatures in the world versus the creature that took down a legend. Rest in peace, Mr. Irwin. Surprisingly, the stingray is not aggressive. It uses its tail filled with venomous barbs only for deterrence and against predators, with that very tail having the power and speed to break through a wooden boat's hull. What makes the dolphin so impressive though is that it has a partner. It hunts and swims with another dolphin paired since birth, and that could be the deciding factor for this fight. These dolphins are toying with the stingray. The stingray is constantly whipping around its 4-meter long tail, looking for any hit to cause serious, extremely painful wounds. But the dolphins are staying in front of the stingray, not allowing the tail enough room to shoot out. Dolphins in real life often watch stingrays use their tail to ward off predators, and using their superior intelligence, understand it's not to be messed with. And with one dolphin distracting the stingray, the second one bolts in, spinning around to smack the stingray with its tail, stunning it. Then both dolphins close in, razor sharp teeth out to finish the job. In real life, dolphins often follow stingrays to sources of food, which means that they have first-hand experience on how dangerous their tails can be. With superior intelligence and numbers, the dolphins easily outmaneuver the stingray, securing its place in the quarterfinals, which leads us to the final battle of our first round. Narwhal versus great white shark. The narwhal, the majestic unicorn of the sea, is using its enlarged tooth, yes, it is an enlarged tooth, to sense where its competitor could be. Using tiny holes found in the tooth, it allows the seawater to enter and can determine any change at a moment's notice. But the great white shark doesn't need to adapt. It's one of the deadliest predators in the world, let alone the sea. Narwhals use their mouths to just suck up tiny fish for food. Great white sharks use their jaws to rip their prey in half with a single bite. Sensing the great white shark from below, the narwhal tries to get out of the way, but great whites can reach speeds up to 38 miles per hour, much too fast for our narwhal competitor. A burst through the water, the narwhal is pushed out above the water and taken out in a single bite. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason why this guy is at the top of the food chain. Can anyone hope to stop the pure power and dominance of the great white shark? Let's just get right into the quarterfinals, where we get one step closer to see the true king of the ocean. Orca versus giant squid. Known as the wolf of the sea, the orca is feeling strangely confident against its almost 60-foot long competitor. Known to fight sperm whales and take down almost any creature in its sight, the elusive giant squid knows that keeping its distance is the key to winning this battle. Using its long feeding tentacles, it reaches and probes for any opportunities to grab the orca, but it's easily outmaneuvered. Seeing the distance, the orca pushes the giant squid's boundaries to find its opening. It's looking to pin the giant squid against a wall. The orca circles and pushes the giant squid to a natural cliff face, and suddenly the giant squid has nowhere to go. Giant squids may take on sperm whales, but orcas hunt whales. The orca dodges the feeding tentacles, going straight for the fleshy weak spot of the squid's head. A blot of ink is shot out, but the orca backs off, whipping around to attack again. A nip on the tentacle, a bite on the side. The giant squid is confused and in pain. Then one solid bite to the head to crown our victor, the orca. With superior environmental awareness and experience preying on much larger creatures, it would be relatively easy for this orca to trick and trap the giant squid. Plus, although giant squid take on sperm whales, they tend to lose to them more often than not, which means the orca moves on to the semi-finals, and we get to move on to a fight where size really matters. Barracuda versus blue whale. Barracuda are one of the most ferocious fish and ruthless predators in the sea, but try saying that to the king. The barracuda is sitting, waiting. Its natural camouflage allows it to sit just barely out of the blue whale's range, but the blue whale doesn't even need to pay it any mind. It's too busy eating over 40 million krill a day. It knows that no predator is foolish enough to take it on, so it barely notices when the barracuda, with nearly 1/20th of its size, speeds in like a jet to bite it. Let me ask you, if you were attacked by a goldfish, do you think it would honestly win? That's about the size difference between these two animals. Feeling a small pinch, the blue whale turns around to bring its massive tail down, recreating this meme for the barracuda. The blue whale seems unstoppable with its massive size difference from its challengers, but that's how the ocean works. No one dares take on a blue whale, except, well, we'll get to that in the semi-finals. But now we have a special hidden challenger for our next fight. To Saltwater crocodile versus someone. The saltwater crocodile is ready to eat, but there's no competitor. After the dramatic finish between the piranhas and poison animals, we had to bring in a special guest to fight the saltwater crocodile, the octopus. The octopus comes in and immediately camouflages into the ground around the crocodile. Using its enhanced intelligence, it knows how to take down this massive predator. It needs to jump in, grab its head, and disorient it with ink. Sneaking around, the octopus sees its opportunity. It jumps in, tentacles flailing. This is its only hope to take down such a colossus, monstrous, and it's dead. The crocodile just turns around, eats it. You know what? I wasn't really sure what I was expecting. The octopus is one of the most intelligent creatures in the world, but it just doesn't have the power or size that other creatures like dolphins and orcas have. And against something as deadly as the saltwater crocodile, it just means our crocodile gets an express pass to the semi-finals, which leads us to our final quarterfinals fight. And honestly, it's the fight I've been looking forward to the most. Dolphin versus great white shark. This is the battle Versus was made for. An inseparable bond versus the king of predators. For our dolphins to win, they need to be smart, they need to keep moving, and they need to rely on each other. Right away, the pair splits up, circling and confusing the shark. Using tail slaps and their entire bodies to ram into the shark, they're stunning and overloading this predator's brain. The great white is looking for any mistake, any problem, and there it is. One of the dolphins is getting too cocky. The dolphin dives into the great white shark, but he's anticipating it. It turns quickly, and in one bloody flash, that dolphin's gone. Great white sharks have enough power to bite through a car and eat over 11 tons of food a year. Nothing escapes its massive jaw. The other dolphin looks to its lifeless partner, fear running through it. The great white was stunned, but no longer. It swims up to the last dolphin, the pain and suffering of its lifelong friend still stained on the great white shark's teeth. The jaw opens as the second dolphin admits defeat. And we are now down to our final 4 contestants: the orca, the blue whale, the saltwater crocodile, and the great white shark. Any one of them could win and take the crown. Let me know down in the comments if your pick has made it this far and who you think will take it all. Orca versus blue whale. The blue whale has become the immovable object for this Versus episode. Nothing can come even close to destroying this literal kaiju, but the orca is different. It is the only natural predator of the blue whale. It's where the name killer whale came from. Old sailors saw them attacking whales and winning.
You're not a looker among them.
Only 3 confirmed blue whale kills from orcas have been documented by scientists, but it does mean there's a chance. This orca knows that by itself, it has to be patient and persistent to win. By circling away from the blue whale's massive tail, the orca is able to chase, bite, and wear down this Goliath. The blue whale's only defense is slowly stripped down as the orca draws more and more blood. Although orcas need to typically work in groups to take down blue whales, we have something that's not available in the real world: unlimited time. Hours and hours later, the blue whale just cannot stop the onslaught coming from this orca. It slows down, breathing its final slow breath. It held on as long as it could, but with no other whales nearby, it was only a matter of time before this orca could get its meal. This may be controversial, but this battle of endurance goes to the predator over the prey, which means our orca is going to the grand finals. But who could it be up against? Let's find out right now. Saltwater crocodile versus great white shark. The saltwater crocodile and great white shark are staring at each other, slowly drifting through the sea, waiting for the ambush. Unlike their previous competitors, these two predators' bites could end the fight instantly. Suddenly, a new emotion has entered the field: fear. But the great white shark has a massive advantage: maneuverability. Our salty reptile is meant for explosive movement and action. It can't dodge and weave like the great white. The crocodile explodes at the great white, but the great white responds back, dodging and biting. Neither predator can get that final bite. But with enhanced senses of smell and sight, the great white is able to track the crocodile through all this speed and commotion, and it's now in the perfect position, right underneath it. The great white charges in, but the crocodile turns explosively to snap at nothing. The great white is now behind the crocodile. A burst of speed, mouth agape, and with a single well-placed bite sends the saltwater crocodile down to 3rd place. This is it, the one that will determine who is the apex predator. Both our competitors have dominated every single battle they've been through. They've shown that they deserve to be at the top, but only one could be a true champion, and it's gonna be the deadliest battle yet. Let's get right to it. Orca versus great white shark. In this corner, we have the king of the dolphins, the killer of whales. It's the orca. And in the other corner, Steven Spielberg's worst nightmare, the largest predator in the world. It's the great white shark. Both competitors can see that the other have been through some tough battles. The great white shark can smell the mixture of tuna, squid, and even whale blood emanating from the orca. And the orca can see the blood and salt coming from the great white, even as it tries to camouflage into the ocean. The great white starts circling the orca, staying just out of sight, looking for the perfect time to strike, which is right now. A burst of speed. The great white comes in, teeth blazing, but misses the orca. The killer whale is ready and knows that its challenger is looking to end everything in one bite. The great white shark may have missed, but now it's in the perfect position, right underneath the orca. With the open air straight above, the great white bolts towards the orca, but the orca isn't moving. It's been waiting for this moment. See, orcas have been fighting great whites for a long time, and humans have dubbed this next move the karate chop. At the last second, the orca swims out of the way, flipping around and using its tail and momentum to push the shark to the surface of the water. Using the shark's own momentum, it creates a vortex that pushes the shark fully out of the water briefly before slamming its tail back onto the shark, pushing it right back into the water. The great white shark is stunned and flipped. Through blurry vision, the great white only sees the orca swimming over, 45 shining, deadly teeth looking to clamp on what is now easy prey. The orca wins this fight because of its well-documented technique, the karate chop. It's what makes it so effective at competing and taking down great whites. Both animals really are some of the most brutal predators in the world, let alone the ocean. But the orca, it's really in a class of its own. The only reason we don't really think about them too much is because they just don't tend to hunt humans. I guess apex respects apex. And there you have it, your winner of the Versus Ocean Battle Royale, the orca. Let me know down below if there's any other giant battle royales you want to see next, or if there's any battles that you think need a rematch. And if you want to see more orca or great white action, make sure to check our other videos on great white versus crocodile, shark versus octopus, and even the rematch of great white shark versus killer whale. Don't forget to subscribe.